King Philip's War. Of course, there had been, it's 1675-ish, we'll say, and so we've had, 50 years or so of colonization happening here in southern New England between Massachusetts Bay, Rhode Island colony, and the Connecticut colony. And I know there were other colonies south, but I'm just focusing on southern New England right now. King Philip's War, there's interpretations about this because the English were encroaching on the native communities' territories greatly, pushing us out, whether you were Wampanoag or Narragansett or Nipmuc or Niantic or Mohegan or Pequot. We were being pushed and shoved all different directions. And no matter how much land was quote unquote given, that's a matter of opinion on the term given, it was never enough. And whatever resources were there, they were often taken. And so in Massachusetts, King Philip Metacom was concerned, and I'm putting my own spin on the way I'm interpreting this. And he and his followers were pushing back. There were skirmishes and things that happened, but it wasn't the fantasy version is it was unprovoked. Well, it was provoked. It's been being provoked and provoked when someone is pushing you out of your homeland, taking all the resources, and also killing your people. You're provoked. So King Philip's War, it starts to escalate and escalate and escalate. So I'm going to take it from a Narragansett perspective. The Narragansett and the Niantic people were staying neutral out of the war, and were not being part of it. And we stayed not part of it, but there were things that were happening. And I believe it was Pawtuxet that said at some point that he would not give not one paring of one nail of a Wampanoag to the colonists. And you can probably look it up. It's a fairly famous quote. And, so that was a provocative statement to be said. And, my opinion, and maybe other historians' opinion, is that sort of was a bit of provocation for the massacre at Great Swamp. So because, as my oral history has always told me, we housed some Wampanoag elders and children and so forth. The fort at Great Swamp was very difficult to traverse. But this particular winter, it was December. This particular December, it was very, very cold, and so even the swampy areas froze over. And as I've always been told, they got a hold of a native scout and basically tortured him to make him show the way into the swamp. And when they got there, they indiscriminately murdered people, women, children, elders. It didn't matter. And then they set the swamp ablaze. The historical record says there were approximately 500 people massacred in the swamp that day. And every year we do a memorial there. We do the memorial not always like it's the memorial pilgrimage is done in the fall, and not necessarily on the exact date, partly because it's winter and elders really want to be part of that, and it's a little too much at that time of the year. But every single year, we as a community honor the past, the present, and the future.